Behind the Red Line, Episode 7. The Confessor, Samuel Little, America's most prolific serial killer. America is full of long-forgotten roads, stretches of concrete that cut through cities, deserts, forests, and small towns. Roads where lives intersect briefly and then disappear again into the dark. And on those roads, for nearly 5 decades, something else traveled too. Not a ghost, not a rumor, not a legend. A man, a drifter, a predator, a shadow that moved from state to state, town to town, street to street, leaving silence behind him. His name was Samuel Little, and he confessed to killing 93 women. The FBI believes almost all of them are true. For years, Samuel Little hunted women society didn't protect. Women surviving addiction, homelessness, unstable housing, violent partners, and street-based sex work. Women who disappeared quietly because the world decided they were already invisible. Tonight, we pull them back into the light. Tonight, we tell the real story of the man the FBI calls America's most prolific serial killer, and the women whose stories deserve to be heard. This is Behind the Red Line. This is Episode 7, The Confessor. Before the killings, before the confessions, before the national headlines, Samuel Little was already drifting. Born in 1940 in rural Georgia, he claimed his mother was a teenage sex worker who left him behind. A detail that investigators believe shaped his twisted fixation on vulnerable women. He was raised by his grandmother in Ohio. He grew into a young man with a deep, simmering anger, the kind that never erupts loudly, but burns quietly, eating everything from the inside. He watched people more than he spoke. He remembered faces, expressions, the shape of someone's jaw, the curve of a neck, the sound of footsteps. By his teens, he was already stealing, breaking into houses, getting suspended from school. Police who dealt with him said he had a strange calmness, the kind of stillness that made you uncomfortable, like he wasn't reacting to the world, just recording it. When he left home, he didn't settle anywhere. He didn't chase opportunities. He didn't chase love. He chased the road. Cheap motels, gas stations, truck stops, back alleys behind clubs, bars where the neon flickered, parking lots where strangers met and disappeared into the night. He drifted so much that even he couldn't remember all the places he lived. And soon, he learned something. When you live at the edges of society, you start to see who else is out there, who else has been pushed aside, who else has nowhere to go. Women trying to survive the night, women walking alone, women cold, hungry, tired, or desperate for safety. Women who, in his eyes, were exactly what he wanted. The first woman he admitted to killing was in Miami, early 1970s. He remembered the humidity that night, how the air clung to your skin like a second layer. He remembered her hair, the way it curled at the ends. He remembered she looked tired, the kind of tired that sits deep in your bones. She had been out on the streets too long. She needed a ride. She needed warmth. She needed someone to be kind. And Sam Little could pretend to be kind when he wanted to. She got into his car, a decision that changed everything. According to his confession, he drove her out toward a quiet, swampy area. He said she trusted him, or maybe she didn't. Maybe she was just too exhausted to fight anything anymore. He never described her pain. He never described her fear. He only described what he felt, a sense of power, of control, of silence. He left her in an overgrown, swampy patch of land where wildlife erased what had been done. Her body was found, but investigators couldn't determine a cause of death. She became just another Jane Doe. No one connected her to a man passing through. He moved on. The world forgot. Another woman, this time in North Hollywood. He remembered her haircut, her attitude, her confidence. They argued. He overpowered her. He left her behind a building. Her death was written off as an overdose. Another woman. Another forgotten case. The 1970s were full of chaos. Serial killers roaming unhindered, police departments overwhelmed, women disappearing, and no one tying pieces together. And in that chaos, Samuel Little found his playground. The 1980s were his most active years. He drifted through city after city, always on the outskirts, always near the places where survival was a day-to-day fight. Houston, Los Angeles, Phoenix, New Orleans, Atlanta, Cincinnati, Pascagoula, Tupelo, Las Vegas. Everywhere he went, women vanished. They'd be seen one night, asking for food, trying to get a motel room, walking to a shelter, then gone the next morning. No witnesses, no missing person reports, no headlines. Their lives didn't fit the narrative the media cared about. Their deaths didn't ring alarms in police stations, and Sam knew it. He looked for women standing alone, women pacing slowly at the edge of a parking lot, women finishing a drink at a bar, women leaning into car windows, just trying to make a living. He knew what desperation looked like. He knew what exhaustion looked like. He knew who the system had abandoned. And he built his hunting ground around those women. He'd charm them, offering a ride, a place to warm up, something to eat, a cigarette, or just a moment of gentleness they hadn't felt in months. He made himself look like the safest option in a world full of danger. And when they relaxed, when their guard dropped, when they believed they were finally somewhere safe, that's when the darkness showed itself. He didn't use weapons. He didn't use knives. He didn't shoot. He strangled. Quiet. Fast. Controlled. A method that left behind confusion and uncertainty for coroners and detectives. Bodies found in empty lots. Bodies found behind abandoned houses. Bodies found near rivers or the edge of highways. Bodies left in positions that could be misread as drug overdose, exposure, or accidental trauma. Police files filled up, but they never connected the faces, never connected the states, never connected him. They weren't looking for a drifter. They weren't looking for one man moving across America like a dark wind. They weren't looking for a predator who attacked women the world ignored. So he kept going. One night in San Diego, 1984, his pattern slipped. He picked up a woman, exhausted, hungry, scared. He took her to a secluded area. He attacked her the same way he'd attacked so many others. But she lived. She ran half-naked into the street. A passing driver saw her and called for help. She identified Samuel Little. She testified. She told police exactly what had happened. He served 2.5 years, not for attempted murder, not for assault, for a lesser charge tied to an argument. Police never looked deeper, never connected him to other bodies. He got out, moved on, kept killing. The 1990s should have slowed him down. He was aging. His health was failing. He had difficulty running, lifting, overpowering. But he didn't stop. He just became more selective, more patient, more calculated. He drifted through Mississippi, Arkansas, Ohio, Arizona, Georgia, Louisiana, towns where few people knew him and even fewer cared who he was. He kept choosing women who were alone in the world, some battling addiction, some living in desperation, some just trying to survive until morning. He remembered all of them, their hair, their smiles, the clothes they wore, the way they talked, the way they trusted him too quickly. He remembered every detail, even when no one else did. He would later draw some of their faces in vivid detail, portraits so accurate that families identified missing loved ones decades later. But during these years, those portraits existed only in his mind. Trophies he carried with him across every highway. By the early 2000s, Samuel Little was older. His body was weaker. His legs were failing. He was no longer the strong, imposing man he had been. But he still hunted. He admitted to killing women in Houston, Tupelo, and Las Vegas during these years, describing them with the same chilling clarity he had for the women from the 1970s. Even weakened, he remained a danger. He remained manipulative. He remained predatory. He survived through theft, small robberies, and drifting from place to place, until one small decision changed everything. In 2012, he was arrested in Kentucky on a drug charge. Nothing special, nothing violent, nothing unusual. But this time, his DNA was collected. And that DNA matched evidence from 3 unsolved murders in Los Angeles from the 1980s. 3 murders that had haunted cold case detectives. 3 women who had been forgotten by the system. 3 women whose cases were marked unsolved for decades. When LAPD confronted him, he didn't deny anything. He didn't argue. He leaned back in his chair, smiled slightly, and said, "I've got stories to tell." And then the floodgates opened. Over the next 2 years, Samuel Little confessed to killing 93 women across America. And he remembered every one of them, where they were standing, what they were wearing, how their hair was styled, what they talked about, where he left them, the angle of their face, the tilt of their head, the softness in their voice, the moment they trusted him. He sketched portraits of dozens of victims, drawings hauntingly accurate, full of emotion and life. Ranger James Holland, the investigator who interviewed him for months, said he never forgot a single woman, not one. Their faces lived in his mind like photographs. His confessions were delivered calmly, like he was describing a movie he'd seen long ago. No remorse, no panic, just memory after memory, detail after detail. And for the first time in decades, detectives realized the scope of the monster they'd missed. Investigators around the country had one question. How did he kill for 50 years without being caught? The answer was painful. He targeted women who were already marginalized. Women experiencing homelessness, women battling addiction, women in sex work, women estranged from family, women of color, especially Black women. When these women disappeared, police rarely launched massive investigations. Their deaths were often misclassified: accidents, overdoses, undetermined causes. And when bodies were discovered, their cases were separated by hundreds of miles, handled by different jurisdictions, and never connected. The system failed these women long before Samuel Little ever found them. He took advantage of that failure. He counted on it. And for nearly 50 years, he was right. Samuel Little died on December 30th, 2020, in a California prison. He died without revealing everything. He died without giving closure to every family. He died having avoided justice for most of his life. But because of his confessions, dozens of families finally know what happened. Dozens of unidentified victims finally have faces and names, and dozens more wait in silence, still needing closure, still hoping someone recognizes a drawing, a description, a memory. Narrator: Samuel Little didn't choose victims. He chose invisibility. He preyed on women who deserved protection. He preyed on women who deserved safety. He preyed on women who deserved full, beautiful lives, women who were mothers, daughters, sisters, friends, artists, dreamers, fighters, survivors, women the world dismissed, but who Samuel Little remembered with chilling precision. Tonight, we remember them with truth, with honor, and with the gravity they deserve. This is Behind the Red Line.